Hi there. In this tutorial we'll be taking a look at the player start marker. Now I already have a small level loaded up in front of me here, as you can see, and what I need to do in this level is add a start position for my player. So what I'm going to do is come over to my library panel on the left, move down to markers, click on the tab, and you'll see at the very start there is a green arrow, and underneath it says player start. I'm going to left click on this marker to add this marker to my cursor. Now you'll notice when I move my cursor around, this player start marker is following it. I can rotate it by pressing the R key. I can also rotate it by holding Shift and pressing the R key, which will give me a rotation of 1 degrees instead of the normal 15 or 45. Or I can left click and place the start marker down on my level. I can now right click to remove the player marker that is following my mouse cursor, just so I don't place another one down by accident. If at any time, let's pretend I do not like where this start marker is, if I'm in the entity mode, which is up here at your toolbar, I can left click to pick this start marker up again, rotate it and reposition it to where I want, and then left click to place it down again. Finally, right click to remove this copied player start marker from your cursor. Now what I want to do is look at the player's properties when he first starts out. So again, I'm still in entity mode, so I'm going to hover over until I get this green circle around my start marker. You'll notice when I'm not near it, there's no green circle. So hover over it and right click on the player start marker. Now you'll notice that where a library panel used to be, we now have a properties panel. We have general, statistics, and sound. We'll go through each one of these. So let's first start with general. We have the name, which is an in-game name for this start marker. Now because it's just a player start marker, you won't have to worry about setting a unique name or having duplicates in your level, because there should only be one start position for your player. Moving on, we have has weapon. What this item does is it enables you to have the player start out with a weapon that's in your library. Say for instance, I want this player to start out with a Tommy gun. I can just click on has weapon, click on the little button on the right, and then select Tommy gun. So currently right now this player will start out with a Tommy gun, or I can change it to any other weapon that I have already in my library. Underneath that, you'll know we have ammo quantity. This is the number of clips that the player will start out with. If the player does not have a weapon, the ammo quantity does not take into effect for anything. However, if you assign the player a weapon, say as a Tommy gun, and you give an ammo quantity of 1, this means that however many bullets this Tommy gun can hold, it will have 1 clip. So let's pretend this Tommy gun had 30 bullets. He would have 30 bullets to fire. You can set this to a high number if you want, say like 10, or even 99 or 100. It doesn't matter as long as it's bigger or equal to 1. So currently right now I have my player starting out with a Tommy gun, and he has 10 clips, so basically he has 300 ammo. Moving on, we have statistics. Underneath statistics we have lives. This is your basic lives that you would find in any game. Currently it's set at 3. You can change this to any number from 1 or higher. What this does is basically whenever the player's life reaches 0, it will take a number away from these lives, and when it gets down to 0 itself, it will then end the game, as the game over will appear on your screen. Underneath that we have health. Currently it's set to 500. You can change this anywhere from the number 1 to as high as you want. This also sets the starting health and the maximum health for the player. So if I were to change this to 100, this means that the player cannot exceed 100 health. We also have speed, which is directly underneath health, and this specifies how fast the player is moving. By default, the speed is 100. You can think of this almost in percent. If you wanted to slow the player down in half, you could change this to 50. Or if you wanted to speed the player up by 100%, just add 100 onto the default, which makes 200. Following speed, we have hurt fall. Currently it's at 100 damage. What this signifies is if the player, when he starts off, if he were to fall from a high distance, so like let's pretend he falls from level 3 and hits the ground on level 1, he will receive 100 damage. You can set this anywhere from 0 to, let's say, 999. You can have instant death if you want, or you can have no hurt damage at all, basically. Moving on to the final thing, we have sound. Underneath sound, we have sound set. Currently, it's just set at player. What this tells the game is it tells what wave files to use when the player, say, jumps, when he gets hit, or when he falls to the ground. You can change this by clicking on the elliptical button, which will load up a new dialog, and you can pick from any one of these default folders. Let's pretend I wanted to change this character to female voices. Currently what I'd have to do is right click and then choose rename, and then copy what text we have here, which is female, cancel it out of this select file dialog, and then just paste this over top of the player. Another method you could use is you could just type it in your keyboard. So again, if I wanted to change it to robotic, all I have to do is overtype this. You'll just want to make sure that this name that you type in here matches up with a folder that you have located in voices. Now that's it for the player start marker. As you can see, it's fairly easy and fairly simple to use. And we'll see you in the next tutorial.